home to KARE.
Now, the Twin Cities' fastest growing television news. News 11. With Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Tom Reiter on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
September 9th, the Minnesota primary. The DFL gives the nod to Governor Rudy Perpich. They want 4 more years. That same night, the IR elects Cal Ludeman, a challenger they think can unseat Perpich. For the next 13 weeks, both candidates crisscross the state with hopes of winning votes and winning the election. It's now November 4th, Election Day, and the decision comes down to the voters. Who will be the next governor of Minnesota? Good evening. There's no more campaigning this hour for either Perpich or Ludeman.
It's a waiting game until the votes are counted.
One thing pretty close to certain at this hour is how the two candidates themselves voted. Governor Rudy Perpich and his wife traveled to McKinley Township Hall, close to Gilbert, this morning to cast their ballots. Now, after voting, Perpich emerged confident of victory. And IR candidate Cal Ludeman and his wife cast their ballots this morning at the Monroe Township Hall near Tracy, not far from the Ludeman farm. When leaving, Ludeman told reporters he voted for the best people on the ballot, including himself.
Perpich and Ludeman are two among about 1 million Minnesota voters that are expected to go to the polls today.
Election officials say voters are turning out in larger numbers than expected.
News 11's Kevin McDowell is standing by live at a polling place in St. Paul and has more of what's happening at that location. Kevin?
Paul, Diana, with the Valley Apartments on University Avenue East in St. Paul, one of 139 polling places in this city. And as you said, voter turnout has been heavier, at least heavier here than in past elections. One reason for that, at least in St. Paul, might be a city charter amendment on the ballot. It would extend the city councilman terms from 2 to 4 years, but overall, from the folks we talked to, there doesn't seem to be a big issue or a big race that's grabbing a lot of attention. 89-year-old Leonard Wood has been voting since 1919, hasn't missed an election.
I was enthusiastic for him, and most people didn't care so much.
Were you this excited? Were you that excited this time?
No, there was nothing exciting this time.
And of course, as in other places, the polls here close at 8 o'clock. Paul, Diana?
Yeah, they were saying where I voted today that it was busier than usual there. They were having a big day. Thanks, Kevin.
Well, as the votes are counted tonight, the tension will be mounting at DFL and IR headquarters. News 11 has crews at both locations. First,
we go live to Melissa Young at DFL headquarters for a preview of what's to come tonight. Melissa?
Well, Paul, it should be a pretty exciting evening later on. Right now, things are still pretty quiet. We have a full contingency of media here, and we've seen our first politician of the night. 5th District Congressman Martin Sabo has already made an appearance, along with some of the governor's campaign staff. Now, the governor should be here at 9 o'clock for what may be an acceptance speech. We'll have to wait and see, but at any rate, that should be the biggest excitement here of the evening. In the meantime, Joan Steffend is over at IR headquarters in Bloomington. Joan, how are things over there?
Pretty quiet right now, but it has been a long haul for candidate Cal Ludeman and an election year that his wife Debbie says she just doesn't want to repeat right now. First, there was the hard-won convention where he came in the dark horse and he left the winner over a substantial bid by Dave Jennings. And then an easy victory in the primary over Bloomington Mayor James Lindau, followed by 2 long months on the road, spending lots of money on television, lots of time on the road. All the while, polls have shown him behind, and he says if he loses tonight, he has said he will return to Tracy, Minnesota tomorrow, climb back onto his combine, and he's not willing to think any further than that. Back to you, Paul and Diana.
Thank you, Joan. Well, there will be plenty of election night excitement and anticipation in several states surrounding Minnesota tonight.
And for a look at some of those races, we go to Kirsten Lindquist, who's at the News 11 regional desk. Kirsten?
Paul and Diana, 2 of the hottest contested races in the area will be decided in Wisconsin tonight. In the race for governor, Republican Tommy Thompson will be trying to unseat Democratic incumbent Anthony Earl. Polls show that race to be quite close. The bitter Senate race in Wisconsin will also be one to watch. Incumbent Republican Robert Kasten hopes to defeat his challenger, Democrat Ed Garvey. In North Dakota, voters will be deciding between Republican George Mickelson and Democrat Lars Herseth in the race for governor, a seat that was vacated by Republican Bill Janklow earlier this year. And in Iowa, incumbent Republican Governor Terry Branstad is being challenged by former state senator and Democrat Lowell Junkins. We'll be keeping a close eye on all these races and other races through the region throughout the night. Back to you, Paul and Diana.
All right, Kirsten, long night ahead of us. Thank you. And as a reminder here at News 11, we'll keep you up to date on all the latest election returns. Our special coverage begins tonight, right at 7:55.
While Minnesota voters made their way to the polls today, future Minnesota voters were also casting ballots. Some area junior high students held a mock election of their own, and News 11's Dennis Stauffer has the official results.
Students in Mr. Kaufman's American Government class held their own election today, complete with secret ballots. And why not? They've been following the races more closely than many of their elders.
We've been talking now about the two major candidates.
Each student in every 8th grade social studies class filled out a ballot and turned it in. These kids won't be old enough to vote in a real election for years, but they sound like they know the issues.
I think Purpose should be in because he helps farmers.
When Purpose was in office, he was like driving business out of Minnesota and stuff, and I think Mr. Ludeman will help bring it back.
The final hour math class counted the votes, and when it was over, students had selected incumbents in every statewide race except one. They picked Ludeman for governor. But more important than the outcome is the fact that students enjoyed the exercise. Did you learn something from all this?
Yeah, because our teacher's a good teacher.
Now there's a kid who knows which vote really counts. Dennis Stauffer, News 11, Minnetonka.
Minnetonka Junior High was just one of the many schools that held mock elections today to help enlighten future voters.
Coming up, are the credit cards that come unsolicited by mail too good to be true? Find out next from consumer editor Mike Igo.
And we'll have the latest on a truck rollover that had motorists in Golden Valley stalled for 2 hours. That story and more as News 11 continues.
Ed, I told you that wasn't a deer. Oh, no, the battery! I told you to go to Fleet Farm.
Don't let a dead battery cause you trouble. The Durastart 60-month battery is maintenance-free, delivers up to 530 cold cranking amps, and comes with a 6-month free replacement warranty. And it's just $39.95 now at Mills Fleet Farm. Don't wait till it's too late.
Trash. Tons of it are buried in landfills every day. But at NSP, engineers are looking at trash as a rich source of electricity. Using it will help solve an important community problem. It'll also help us keep your rates among the lowest in the country. And that helps everyone see trash in a whole new light. Creative Energy, NSP.
You've heard about glasses fast, glasses right? At the iWorks, fast means just a few hours. And right starts right here with a total eye exam from an iWorks doctor of optometry. And ultra-fast service from our own lens lab. For the right look, choose from over 4,000 frames. Or choose from our contact lens center for a look that's all you. Get your glasses fast, glasses right. At the iWorks, the Eye Care Superstore. Call for an exam or bring us your prescription.
It's Wix Furniture's holiday sale. Save 50% on this 5-piece smoked glass and oak dinette set. Now just $199.98. Save $100 on this beautiful collection of chairs covered in rugged Herculon velvet. A chair for your every need. 4 styles, decorator fashion colors. Your choice at the unbelievable price of just $199.98 each. Plus no payments or finance charges until February with a Wix charge. Unexpected quality, spectacular savings.
Wix, surprisingly Wix.
Here's a developing story we're following at this hour. There's been a fatal helicopter crash in Sherburne County. NSP officials say the chopper went down near its Sherco 3 power plant just before 5 this afternoon. Witnesses say the chopper appeared to have run out of fuel just before the crash. The pilot of the helicopter was killed. Word is the helicopter belonged to the B&G Company out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. We'll have more on the story as details become available.
Right now, there is a major traffic jam on westbound Interstate 94 near the Lowry Tunnel due to an accident. A semi-truck and several cars collided, injuring 29-year-old Michael Anderberg. He's in good condition at Hennepin County Medical Center. The State Highway Patrol reports that traffic is backed up for miles and delays of more than an hour can be expected. Drivers should look for alternate routes. Earlier in the day, the scene in Golden Valley wasn't much better. Traffic on westbound Highway 55 near Highway 100 was blocked for nearly 2 hours. A semi-truck loaded with lumber overturned when exiting from Highway 100. The truck was eventually righted. No injuries are reported.
It might seem like a shopper's dream, getting credit cards you didn't ask for in the mail. But there's more than meets the eye, as Mike Igo tells us in tonight's Action 11 report.
Among the many things arriving in the mail lately are a number of unsolicited credit cards. Problem is, at least one company is implying your silence is acceptance and claims you're automatically responsible for charges like cardholder fees.
Since I hadn't requested it, here it was, I'm supposed to pay a $20–25 service fee for having their credit card. And along later on, maybe here comes a bill and they end up paying the thing. Oh, I got a bill, I owe some money to these people. And I just don't think that that type of thing should be allowed.
It's not, Ted. When it comes to unsolicited credit cards, you're protected by the Truth in Lending Act.
The law is very clear in that it requires an oral or written request for the card before the card is sent. And so the fact that you receive a card and don't say anything does not mean that you've accepted the card.
In fact, the only time a company can hold you responsible for a card you didn't request is when you've done business with them in the past. If you're concerned about an unsolicited credit card falling into the wrong hands, you don't have to be, because the law says if you didn't request it, there's no liability. But if you really want peace of mind, the solution is a simple one. This is Mike Igo, Action 11.
And remember, if you come across a gimmick that sounds just too good to be true, write to Mike Igo at Action 11, Post Office Box 111, Minneapolis, 55440.
And what? It never changes.
That's true. It's never changed.
Still to come, tomorrow promises to be a mild day. Paul Douglas with the forecast in just a minute.
And construction is putting Highway 12 in the black, but for many Wayzata businesses, the construction has put them in the red. An update in dollars and cents coming up.
And what does this remind you of? A Pizza Hut Priazzo. And this?
A stuffed pie pizza!
It's new from Godfather's Pizza. Ooh, any way I want it. 3, 4, 5, 6 different kinds of cheeses.
Anytime I want it! Don't you see it?
Godfather's new stuffed pie pizza. What are you waiting for?
Here are the 1986 Isuzus. These I-Marks can go from LA to Tahiti on a gallon of gas. These are the Sporty Impulses. And these Trooper 2s can carry the whole city of St. Louis. This week, Isuzu is offering 1% financing, with prices starting at $999. Of course, this Isuzu costs a little more.
The 1986 Isuzus for a limited time with financing as low as 5.9%.
1 in 6 alcoholics seeks medical care because with treatment, they have a good chance of conquering the deadly disease they suffer from. But without that treatment, the other 5 can only look forward to something else. Call Care Unit. Nobody cares the way we do.
Introducing O's. Oh, so loaded with good things.
There's something in the middle of O's cereal that makes people say,
oh, wow.
There's something in the middle of O's cereal that makes people say,
Oh.
Oh.
O's, new from Quaker, loaded in the middle with good-tasting things.
Crispy rice and honey, crunchy graham, and good things that show.
I love it.
There's something in the middle of O's cereal that makes people say,
oh.
Around the Lovin' Country tonight, a big book sale for school kids in St. Paul. The book sale at the Groveland Park Elementary School is being held to raise money for supplies and equipment at the school. Books and calendars of all kinds will be sold at the school through this week. In Wayzata today, a physics contest. Students at Wayzata High School were given a chance to put what they've learned to good use by building a bridge. The competition was open to all physics students at Wayzata High. And in Minneapolis, King Kong is almost complete. Final touches are being put on this mural, which is located on the side of the Jukebox Saturday nightclub downtown. When the $10,000 project is finally completed, Kong will even appear in 3D. Ooh.
There's Paul Douglas out in the backyard right now. You have on winter coat 11 out there, huh?
Right you are. Had to drag it out of cold storage. Nice to see this on the air again, isn't it, Paul? Diana, huh? All right. Boy, I'll tell you, it was hard reaching for the coat this morning in the closet, but, well, winter is here.
If you're a skier, snow lover, chances are you're going to like this forecast. We seem to be slipping hopelessly into a colder, stormier, potentially snowier weather pattern. I would not be shocked to see some parts of Minnesota picking up significant snow by Sunday or Monday. Still a little bit early to be talking about snow. It's still pretty far off, but well, it's all over the weather maps. Here's what happened earlier today. Plenty of sun, 43 degrees, a low of 22 this morning, 0 up at International Falls. No precip to speak of. Sunrise 6:57 tomorrow morning. In the backyard now clear and 34. A south breeze at 6 miles an hour. The dew point 22. The humidity 61 on the barometer now falling. Time to ponder the politics of the atmosphere, and we want to set the maps into motion since breakfast time. You can see one storm sliding off to our south. Another storm is going to pass off just to our north, just grazing northern Minnesota with a little bit of wet snow and rain later on tonight. The latest weather map, you can see what's happening. An invasion of warm air irritating the atmosphere to our north and west. There have been some reports of rain, even a few ice pellets from Fargo up to Thief River and International Falls. Most of that goo is going to slide off well to the north of the cities, and this stuff is going to stay well to our south. Here's the big fair weather high that donated a very nice day, perfect weather for voting. You really couldn't have asked for a nicer election day weather-wise. Temperature-wise around the nation, 75 in Phoenix, 83 last hour in San Francisco. That was a record. 41 Chicago and 53 in Boston. Super-duper radar picking up a pretty big smear of rain to our south. It's forecast to stay to our south, and most of this stuff is going to pass off just to the north of the cities later on tonight. Now, here's what has me a little bit concerned. Temperatures are very close to freezing over extreme northern Minnesota. Some of our viewer friends up towards Duluth and Bemidji and Fargo could see some icy roads later on tonight. There is a chance, maybe even an inch of slush. Good news for deer hunters. There may be enough to coat the ground over extreme northern Minnesota later on tonight. But will it stick around? That's the question. It's going to be quite mild tomorrow. 51 for a high. A good chance of clouds, maybe a passing shower as that cold front comes through. It's going to try to dry out a little bit Thursday and Friday, but a storm way off the west coast is forecast to dive southeastward. It may be able to tap some moisture from the Gulf and then arc to the north. That classic storm track that could mean snow or maybe a cold rain by Sunday or Monday. A lot of maybes in the forecast, but we're going to have to watch it very carefully. Forecast tonight, no big problems across most of 11 country. Increasing clouds, 26 to 31. Most of the goo passing off well to our north. Tomorrow, patchy clouds, maybe a shower, 48 to 53. And here's your 11 outlook. Clouds lingering. On Thursday, 42. It does cool off a little bit Friday with some sun, and then Saturday, clouds increase once again. The best chance of rain or wet snow coming from Saturday night into Sunday and Monday. We should know more by tonight at 10 o'clock. But I'll tell you what, Paul and Diana, snow is scribbled all over the weather maps.
Yeah, but we've had a great fall.
Yes, we have.
We sure have, and I'm going to have to keep that red magic marker out of the hands of that one meteorologist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just all over the weather maps.
How's the coat feel?
It feels great. Wish you could be out here.
You're used to it already, huh?
Yeah.
Remember, no hats or mutton earmuffs this year.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We'll get into that controversy later.
You will.
Some help is on the way for financially troubled farmers in Minnesota. Mary Stuckey has the details in tonight's Dollars and Cents. Mary?
Paul, as we all know, that's help that a lot of farmers need across the state. As of today, farmers have a new option available to keep them in business. It's the Minnesota Debt Restructuring Program. Under the program, the state's Rural Financing Administration may purchase 25% of a restructured first mortgage real estate loan or 50% of a restructured loan for a homestead. State officials expect stressed borrowers to take advantage of the program. The old JCPenney's building downtown may be torn down to make way for a new office complex. BCE Development Properties wants to build a new retail and office complex at the site, but before that can be done, BCE still has to formalize an agreement with the current owner of the property, Bradley Real Estate Trust of Boston. Construction of Interstate 394 along Highway 12 is moving along at a healthy pace, but not fast enough for area businesses. News 11's Gail Plawacki has more.
The I-394 construction work has become more than just a headache to those trying to make a living on the north side of the road. Customers don't know how to get around the construction to the businesses nearby. And on the average, business has dropped off by 25%. Some of the owners are asking for help.
Sent a letter to Senator Ramstad and Representative Shaver, signed by each of the business owners saying, can we get some better signs? Can we get something to help people understand that we can get here?
The chiropractic center has sent maps to patients to help them get to the office. And Chi-Chi's restaurant has put up its own signs along detour routes. Chi-Chi's has lost both business and employees.
Employee-wise, I would say we've probably lost about 20-some-odd employees, not through layoffs, but just not being able to afford to work here anymore.
The road work is expected to be completed by this time next year, but several of the business owners say it will be tough surviving until then. In Wayzata, Gail Plawacki, News 11.
Road construction on Highway 12 will continue for several years. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down almost 2 points to close the day at 1892.44. Volume was heavy, with more than 163 million shares trading hands. The Dow tried to rally late in the day, didn't quite make it, and really was basically mixed today. Gainers actually led losers, even though it was down a bit.
All right, and we'll see a lot of you tonight for our election
You
coverage.
bet. We'll see you.
Thanks.
Coming up, some visiting foreigners get a taste of an old-fashioned American tradition.
And in sports, the Chicago Bears have tasted defeat for the second time. We'll hear from Mike Ditka and some of his players when we come right back with Tom Ryder and his sports.
Remember last year? This year, be ready for it with a little help from Menards. Shop Menards Harvest Sale for big savings on every size Spirit snowblower, including the 2-stage track-driven model, or choose this rugged 5-horsepower model. It cuts a 23-inch path with 6 forward speeds and 2 reverse. On sale now for just $4.99. Take the work out of winter and save during Menards Harvest Sale.
We're helping you build America's heartland at Menards.
When you join MedCenter's health plan, you won't get hit with doctor bills, claim forms, and other medical paperwork. While with regular health insurance, you will. MedCenter's health plan, where everything's taken care of.
Dream time for Wells Blue Bunny. In the land of fruit where everything's yummy, the freshest and sweetest, he grabs it by the bunch. He's dreaming up a flavor, the special this month.
Deep dish cherry crisp, rich, creamy amaretto ice cream swirled with tart red cherry sauce and sprinkled throughout with crunchy pecan pastry. The bunny says life is just a bowl of deep dish cherry crisp.
How to eat a blue bunny, no trick to it. Open up a carton, dig in, and do it. Wales, get your taste buds hopping.
Farmers across the Corn Belt are switching to Eradicane herbicide and saving money. Meet Dale Kennedy.
I saved about $3 an acre and got better performance than with Dual. You can see the good control.
Here's Reed Jensen.
Eradicane gave me better control than Lasso for $3 an acre less.
Eradicane users are getting better grass control at a better price than Dual or Lasso. Here's Dennis Rumar.
Eradicane did the job on my foxtail and cost $2.50 an acre less than Lasso.
You'll save when you switch to Eradicane. He's right, you know. Brad Nussbaum. How are you?
It's a plane, it's a car, it's a motorcycle. Actually, it's a Pulse, and it's a combination of the three. The Pulse is a $9,200 vehicle that seats 2 people and is registered as a motorcycle. It looks a little bit like an airplane, but it never leaves the ground.
We hope. How would you like to travel to Yuma, Arizona in that baby?
No.
5 days with 9 kids?
Yeah, right.
Remember that? Your dad just the threat of that, and you were down in the back seat.
Oh.
Horrifying day.
Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely. Why you? Everyone's ducking. You know? What do you have today?
They're crying in Chicago too. Mike Ditka's kind of the Papa Bear. He's going to be wrapping some bears around, I think. But have the Chicago Bears dropped from orbiting into being just ordinary human beings? They have lost 2 of their last 3 games and almost lost to Detroit last week. Now the latest on Walter Payton is that he has a dislocated toe. It is not broken. The Bears have also activated quarterback Doug Flutie. Now here is how it ended last night. The Rams' Mike Lansford, who did not kick barefooted in college at Washington, as I understand, but does now, kick that 50-yard field goal, 4 seconds left, and despite losing on the home turf, Bears coach Mike Ditka is looking for the silver lining.
I thought it was a good football game, as a matter of fact. One of the better games. It was football the way it's supposed to be played. It wasn't one of these 590-yard, 480-yard jobs. This is football, American football. Somebody runs, somebody hits, tackles.
Tell you, the guy, he always speaks his mind. I like that. So the Chicago loss makes the last two Vikings defeats even more costly. Had the Vikings won against Cleveland and Washington, and well, they could have, they would be tied for first in the NFC Central Division. Instead, the Vikings are second. They're 5-4, and this weekend's opponent, Detroit, really not that far behind. They are at 3-6. The San Francisco 49ers need something to get them going again. They are trudging along with a 5-3-1 record. And apparently that extra push is coming because quarterback Joe Montana is about to return. He has been out with a bad back.
I'm not worried at all about physical contact. I didn't get hurt with physical contact, and if anything that I'd be worried about would be something else, another disc or something might go doing something similar.
Well, without him, they really are a different team, and his return, if he is okay, is really going to help them. The coaches' UPI football poll is out, and there are some minor changes as we check the standings. Really nothing new in the top four. Arizona State now is up to number 5 after beating Washington. And then we have Ohio State up now to number 11. The Buckeyes have suddenly become a team to be reckoned with, and Iowa has dropped to the number 16 position. In baseball, the baseball writers have named Boston Red Sox manager John McNamara as the American League Manager of the Year. Now, he edged Texas Rangers field boss Bobby Valentine in the voting. The Red Sox were picked to finish 5th in their division, and they came to within 1 out of winning the World Series. And the North Stars will be at Chicago tomorrow, and they will be home to host Toronto on Thursday. And finally, did you know? I haven't given you one of those for a while, and I'll do that on Election Day. Did you know that the National Football League has never canceled a game because of weather? Paul, I stole that from your file there.
I did not know.
From PD's file there.
Oh, you did?
But never. Because they always make sure the teams are there a day ahead of time. There have been some close calls, but you remember those games played in the thick snow, rain? Interesting little note.
Yeah, that is. Thanks. Gee, it's pretty exciting. A group of young people from Nicaragua continue to learn more about life in America with their visit to Minnesota. As News 11's Amy Powell tells us, today the kids were treated to a real American tradition. Did you know? A hayride.
On a crisp, bright November morning, Luisa, Ramon, Fabio, Ramiro, and Maria climbed aboard a sleigh for a hayride.
Con perdón tuyo.
The 5 Nicaraguan teenagers were bundled up in more clothing than they've ever worn in their lives, because where they come from, it's hot. But Minnesota is
mucho frío.
Very cold. But the nip in the air wouldn't spoil their fun. The sleigh ride took them through an apple orchard in Jordan. The apples have already been harvested, but there was much to learn.
The life expectancy of these apples is about 15 years, of these apple trees.
Apples don't grow in Nicaragua. So for these teenagers, being in a place where they grow abundantly was pretty exciting. The trip was another in what is rapidly becoming a long list of special experiences these kids will have to share with family and friends when they return to Nicaragua in a couple of weeks. Amy Powell, News 11.
And they've probably never experienced cool weather like this.
They all had hats and mittens.
Yep. A little bit of a chill in the air tonight. Clouds will be on the increase. Should stay dry close to home, though. A low of about 31. And then tomorrow, variable clouds, mild, 51. Tell me more, Tommy.
Tonight, a little bit more about Doug Flutie joining the Bears. Will he help? We'll look at that question tonight.
And that'll do it for us. We'll be back at 7:55 to begin our election coverage. We'll see you then.
Good night.
Special because you're special at your country club market, your neighborhood store.
High C beverages are real thirst quenchers, and now 9-pack single-serving cartons are just $1.69. Mardi Gras decorative napkins and thirsty paper towels are a real buy at 49 cents. And stock up on Royal Crown brand pop in 12-ounce 12-packs, just $2.59.
What's really special at Country Club is you.
Create your own platter at Red Lobster.
Choose any two. Oh, the pride of creation.
It's me.
Choose any two. Your own combination.
I brought them together.
I choose any two of 11. Fried shrimp, yeah. Shrimp scampi.
Flounder, with scallops, that's it.
Create a seafood sensation.
Shrimp and shrimp. Big idea.
Create your own platter, only at Red Lobster.
Hi.
Hi. I need help fast.
Sure.
My old bank has been nibbling at my checking balance. It happened again last night. Service charges, high minimums, check charges, credit card fees. I couldn't even deposit at branches.
Oh. You know what you need? First Minnesota's money market checking. Low minimum, credit card with no annual fee, and free checks.
Oh. See? I'm trading in my old bank.
First Minnesota, the new bank.
He's a private eye with an eye for the best company around. Make a date with Magnum. Weekday afternoons at 3 on TV 11.